Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crafternoon at Camrose Public Library. I'm Nicole. I am one of the program coordinators here. Today, all you're going to need for this project are a pair of scissors, a bunch of different colors of paper, and your own two hands, and some pretty mad folding skills, which you will develop because there's a lot of folding. I made one actually to show you guys out of an old book. And we're making some 16-sided stars, 16-pointed stars, not sided stars. Stars don't have sides. They'd be great made into like little picture frames. You could glue a photo at the back of it, or as a Christmas decoration, or just something to hang on your wall. So I'm lucky, I'm at the library, I have like multicolored paper, so I have millions of different colors of paper, but you could color your own paper too. If all you have is plain white paper, you can do your own designs on it, and I think it will turn out just as beautifully. So, most paper are rectangles. We need squares. Even better if you have your own origami paper. That would make life a lot easier for you. So, what we need to do is measure our paper. So most printer paper is 8.5 by 11. So the easiest way to do a square is to measure 8.5 inches this way. So I'm just gonna eyeball it and show you what I mean. So you'd have to cut off this little piece of paper here because we need squares. I have some pre-cut squares. So we're gonna get started with the folding part. So the first fold you need to make is fold your paper in half, putting your two corners together like that. So you want that to be a really good crease. So you can run your fingernail over it. And then the next fold we need to do is we need to take each of our corners and get them to line up. Get this top edge to line up with the middle fold. It's hard to explain, but I'll show you what I mean. I do not know the actual terminology for origami folds, so I'm just going to show you. So see how I folded this side down? We need to do that with all four corners. They have to be touching the middle of your paper. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is what it's going to look like. And on the back of your paper, you see that first crease that we made? You need that to be pointing towards you. So I'm going to lay it down on the table like this. Then we are going to fold this side in. And I'm going to do my fold, and then I will show you how I did it, because it's really difficult to fold this when I'm holding it up to the camera. So we have our page with our corners folded in. We fold down from that top corner to make that outer edge line up with the crease that we've made in the middle of the paper. We're going to do that again. This is the trickiest fold actually, because sometimes it's really hard to get a good point on this. The thinner your paper is, actually the easier it is to do these folds. So if you have some lighter weight paper, this would not work with cardstock, I don't think, unless you have like super strong hands. So now once we folded both sides in, it looks kind of like an upside down kite. So there's creases running all the way down the front. We want to fold this piece back. So there's a short gap at the back and the longer gap is at the front. So this is what your paper will look like. And see that original crease that we made when we first folded it? We're going to fold that in half. And we have just made one piece of our star. So I'm going to talk you through a couple more. I've done most of mine ahead of time because really, I don't think you need to sit here and watch me fold 16 pieces of paper when you can just rewind it to see how to do it. So you take your square of paper, fold it in half, and crease it. And we open it up and we fold those corners down into the middle of the paper, making sure that the edges line up with that crease that we made, remember? And we do that to all four corners. like I said, you could do this out of pre-colored paper. You could color your own paper, and you'd only really have to color one side because you only see one side of each section of the star. On the outside of the star, the rest is all folded into the middle. So once we've got all our corners folded in, remember that crease? We're gonna fold this side in, and I'll slow down again and I'll show you like that. And we want to do the same with this, making sure we get a pretty good point on the top there. So color your own paper. You can cut apart a book. Books will make smaller ones. This one I have a feeling is going to be pretty giant, but books will make smaller stars just because book pages are smaller. So we've got both sides folded in. We've got our crease at the back, and we're going to fold this backwards from the way we've been folding everything else. So that's what it should look like. And then we go ahead and fold it so that shorter opened edge is on the outside. And I'll do one more. So you could do, if you happen to have 16 different colors of paper or 16 different patterns of paper, you could make every single spoke of your star different. I am doing 2 of each color because I only have like 8 colors of paper. So fold it in. Fold it in. Into that crease. One more time, I'll show you what we've done. We folded all of those in. And then our crease that we made when we first folded our paper in half, we fold the outer edges of that square we just made in so that we have one long edge and one short edge. That's what it looks like. And then we take this and we fold it backwards. And then we fold it in to make one long triangle. So here are all of my sections. It's like a rainbow. So we start by holding one of our papers so that the shorter edge is on the outside. Can you see what I mean about the outer triangle being smaller? And we hold all of our papers that way. So you can see that the way we folded it, there should be some little pockets in the edge, in the outer edge there. These 2 pieces will slide right in there. I'm going to come up close so you can see what I'm doing. This is what's going to hold our star together. It's just sliding them in. And we're just going to do that over and over. The last one is super tricky. If you're having a hard time getting them in there, just squish your corners together really, really flat, and they should slide in better. The nice thing about these is you can take them apart because you don't use glue to hold them together. They just hold together by inserting corners into folds. You could take it apart if you wanted to do a different pattern, different color pattern. And we're just going to keep going all the way around until we have all 16 of those inserted. Ooh, this one's giant. I've never made one this big before. Keep going. Oh, my eyes are not working well. Purple and red. This takes a light hand because if you're not careful, things will start to fall apart. It's when you get the last one in, which is the trickiest one, that things will really hold together quite well. Oh, see? I have 2 greens beside each other. I'm changing things up. I'm pulling out my reds. I don't want 2 colors, 2 similar colors beside each other. Light green and bright green. I'll put my reds in. Two more pieces left, and then I'll show you how to finish it. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. Your last piece, you insert the way you've been inserting all of them. And then you need to insert the beginning where you started, which was my pink one, into that green one, which was your last one. And then you kind of gently and carefully push them all towards the middle. And you wind up with this beautiful 16-pointed star. Thanks for joining me on Crafternoon, you guys. We'll see you next week.